You'll notice he no longer suffers delusions of humanity.
Affirmative.
Welcome back. It's your boy Randall. What I got for you today is a follow-up on the COP28. Today was day one. When you'll be seeing this, it'll been day one. It's more the gaslighting. It's more the mind games. It's more the doublespeak. You already know the drill, so we're just gonna get into this. According to the World Food Program, more than 333 million people are acutely hungry right now, as the impacts of drier, harsher conditions make crops wither. Food prices are sky high, plates are empty, and there is no respite in sight. At the root of this hunger is a vicious cycle that sees the global food crisis fueling the climate crisis and resulting climate change impacts driving higher food prices and insecurity. Now let's address first things first. Every single thing they named is something that the World Economic Forum and its affiliates have caused. 333 million people are acutely hungry. Where are these 333 million people at? Are they rural people? Are they tribal people? Are they city people? Which one is it? Food prices are sky high. Plates are empty and there's no respite in sight. There is a respite in sight, but you greedy bastards are doing what you're doing right here, playing mind games. Are we going to act like they're not holding all of these panels and discussions? I mean, COP28, it's a really sick joke. They are meeting together right now. The people that rose these food prices, let's not act like they're not all in on this. And then they want to talk about the vicious cycle that creates the climate crisis. Why are these people still acting like we don't know that they have literal weather machines? Don't try to act crazy. Oh, Rando, what do you mean they got weather machines? That's science fiction. You know, we have this thing, the internet, FOIA. You can go look this stuff up. These things are real. HARP. Weather manipulation. I mean, didn't Dubai and China show y'all they can make rain? Y'all are the cause of sky-high food prices and insecurity.
Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
The challenge lies with a global food industry that contributes almost a third of greenhouse gas emissions and drives 90% of the deforestation. The resulting intensifying climate impacts, droughts, floods, extreme temperatures, rising sea levels are making it harder to maintain the food production that stocks food shelves worldwide. Once again, for the jillionth time, it's you and your subsidiaries. People, y'all got to understand. These are the puppet masters. This broken food system is creating a world in which some 2,750 excess calories are produced per person per day. Yet, 700 million people face hunger and nearly 1 in 3 cannot afford a healthy diet. We cannot tackle climate change without transforming the way we produce and consume food. Have y'all ever considered leaving us the hell alone? Or if you were really trying to help, you know, with these public food system centers you got around here, you could be teaching us agriculture.
You are in error, Mr. Wordsworth.
Starting on November 30th, the COP28 climate conference in the United Arab Emirates will elevate the links between food and climate change, launching a leaders' declaration calling on countries to put food and agriculture transformation at the center of their climate action pledges. Additionally, together with Gonzalo Munoz, UN climate change high-level champion of Chile's COP25, I am working with business, investors, cities, regions, and civil society to drive action under the UAE presidency's food systems and agriculture agenda. Change is happening, largely led from the ground up. Farmers, fisherfolk, pastoralists, and ranchers are using local and traditional knowledge to work with nature, adapt to climate change impacts, and keep up production. Now we need national and local governments, business, investors, philanthropists, and civil society to help scale up these changes by instigating 4 major solutions to the global food problem. If what you were saying was true, they wouldn't be working with you.
You selling bootlegs? No, I'm good, buddy.
First, adopt the nature-friendly, regenerative, agroecological farming practices that smallholder farmers and pastoralists already use. Today's food systems are often energy intensive and relied on fossil fuels, particularly for pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, and plastics. Agroecological farming uses local and traditional knowledge to adapt to changes in a way that protects soil health, increases biodiversity, and preserves nature. You mean all the stuff we were doing before the Industrial Revolution? Before you usurped my ancestors and fucked up everybody's way of life? Indigenous peoples, local communities, and women should be at the center of this shift as they best understand their land, their climate, and their families' needs. If female-headed households in southern Ethiopia, for example, had the same resources as male-headed ones, their maize productivity would increase by over 40% on par with the latter's, according to a study published in GeoJournal. Once again, we come across this one simple problem. They speak about indigenous peoples, but what we've been finding out lately is, with my ancestral soil, you aren't actually working with the indigenous people of the land. You're working with your proxies on the land. And the next thing, you explain to me why a female-headed household needs the same resources as a male-headed house in Ethiopia. The problem with that is there shouldn't be any female-headed house. Randall, how could you say that? You're a sexist misogynist. You can call it what you want. She doesn't have the same resources as a male because she's not putting in the same kind of work as a male. She needs to come together with said male and not be a burden on his resources, but an asset to help him gain even more. And that's the problem that we're facing right now in regards to that. So I don't want to hear no more of that crap.
Can you dig it?
2. Switch to a healthier diet. Second, shift to a healthier and more sustainable diets. The food system is off kilter. Around 9% of the population faces hunger, but nearly 40% of adults are overweight. Poor diets contribute to health problems such as diabetes, heart disease, cancers, and obesity, and are a leading risk factor for premature death, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization. You want to know what the problem with that is? Where the problem really lies? Is that we know that you're not actually going to give us healthy food. You're going to give us that GMO mutant food, that Franken food. And why are y'all pretending like y'all not the one that passing this poison around that y'all call food? Y'all did that. Why y'all? Sorry, I gotta remember what I'm doing here. I'm breaking it down. We gotta cut through the double speak and all the mental games that they play.
Request clarification of the term?
Yes, the term, Mr. Wordsworth, you people. You make reference to the state?
I make reference to the state.
Healthier diets are also more climate and nature friendly, as they contain fewer animal-based foods and more plant-based foods, particularly pulses and plants, according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Based on the average U.S. diet, for example, replacing beef with poultry can feed 140 million more people. You mean the way my ancestors were living before y'all came over here in the 1900s with your goddamn Industrial Revolution, fucking up everything, fucking up the medicine, messing with the food? Can y'all just stop playing the games and just come out and say what y'all gotta say that you want us eradicated? Why is that so hard for y'all? Y'all that cowardly?
Pussy ass nigga!
3. Restore nature. Third, protect and restore nature. Nature could contribute up to a third of emissions reductions needed by 2030 to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius and help countries adapt to climate change. Examples of this include tree cover shielding people from heat and rain, and mangroves and coral reefs buffering coastlines from rising sea levels. This should include protections for indigenous peoples and local communities who take care of 80% of the planet's remaining biodiversity. You don't want to restore nature. They're not restoring nature, folks. They're reconfiguring nature, reconstructing nature. Like Red Wolf teaches us. they cut down the grand trees. You don't think that's gonna have an effect on the climate?
Why'd you do it?
No reason. I just like doing things like that.
Positive steps are emerging. A coalition of 36 financial institutions committed in 2021 to stem the commodity-driven deforestation in their portfolios, while governments and philanthropists agreed in 2021 to recognize and advance the roles of indigenous peoples and local communities as guardians of forest and nature. If y'all were really willing to do that, number one, the actual indigenous peoples, as far as my ancestral soil, so-called America, is concerned, y'all wouldn't be in our damn way. Two, y'all know what comes with that. Four, reduce food waste. Fourth, reduce food loss and waste. Around 13% of food produced globally is lost between harvest and retail, and 17% is wasted, according to the UN. This requires a concerted public awareness campaign that encourages people to curtail their food waste, as well as improve cold storage infrastructure for food shipments and consistent standards for use by labeling. The UAE is aiming to halve food loss and waste by 2030 by identifying problem areas in the food chain, developing solutions, influencing behavioral changes, developing technologies, and raising community awareness. Through the 1-2-3 pledge launched at last year's COP27 climate conference in Egypt, public and private sector members are also committing to halve food loss and waste by 2030. Once again, this food chain is a man-made problem, or a hue of a man-made problem, shout out Rebel. It be a productive part of an actual food chain, not a corporate food chain. By acting on these four solutions, we will begin to turn the food system from a driver of climate change into an accelerator of climate action. As a part of our work mobilizing robust climate action from businesses, investors, cities, and regions, the high-level champions are already working with partners from farmers and fishers to corporations, investors, cities, and consumers to accelerate efforts on all four fronts. We launched a call to action in November urging all actors involved in food systems to commit to transforming the food system to deliver for people, nature, and climate by 2030. We will be calling on everyone at COP28 to sign on and get moving. A healthy, well-fed population is fundamental to creating a healthier, more resilient future for all. They don't want a healthy, well-fed population. They want a dim, dumbed down bot horde.
I can't believe it. You did it. You wiped out an entire horde.
Finally, we're done with all that word salad. And what I want to say is this. Today's just day one. I haven't watched any videos or anything like that, so I'm going to be doing a lot of research in the coming days, seeing what's of importance, and I'm going to bring it right here to y'all. But what I need from the masses is resistance. We can't keep going along with this. Nothing they're getting ready to put in our bodies is good. Y'all remember doing the so-called scamdemic. Are we going to go with this, or are we going to resist? Are y'all fine with just being cattle? Or do you want to be a wild animal again? I know a lot of y'all are comfy being domesticated. I'm not.
And when I leave, come together like butt cheeks.
I am a human being. I exist.
Delusions, Mr. Wordsworth. Delusions.
Send the word.